You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
I don't read scripts. Script reads me.
Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Yo, we trade actors, motherfucker.
Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy Perham. Now, happy Motivated Monday also. And happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. No, I'm not giving a shout out to single dads who's taking care of their kids. That's your job. And Father's Day is around the corner, so calm down. But seriously, happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day because it was yesterday. To all the moms out there, hope you all had a fantastic day. But other than that, not much going on today. This weekend, rather. Kind of took it easy yesterday. I did cook dinner, Mother's Day dinner for April and my daughter, who is a mom. And just pretty much spent the whole day just watching YouTube videos, kind of getting caught up with the news and other YouTube celebrities, if you will, catching up on their shows a little bit. Just kind of relaxing yesterday. Did watch this movie with April. It was called After the Rain. It actually choked me up at the end because it's a movie about this guy who's documenting his journey with cancer. I didn't catch what type of cancer he had. It was something terminal, and it was a really good movie. I did fall asleep like in the middle of it for about a good 20 minutes. It's a pretty, I'm not gonna say dry movie, but it was kind of, you know, one of those long drawn out storylines. But anyways, outside of that, it's been a pretty good week. I do have a kind of a special treat for you all today when we come back. But first, I want to implore you all to please go to www.tecntv.com, select a show, or watch all of the shows for a week, and give us feedback as to what you think of our shows. Colleagues that's on the network, their shows and everything else. And like I said, give us feedback so we can make improvements or change nothing. Depends on, the aggregate of the commentary. And do that for a week. It's called Reach One Campaign. And we, like I said, we implore you all to do that. Because as we know, currently, the media, the mainstream media, particularly the left stream media, because there's not too many actually right stream outlets out there. You got OAN, Newsmax, and Fox. That's about the relegation to right-wing media. But you got MSNBC, CNN, in a sense ABC to a large degree. There's a few others I can't recall off the top of my head right now. But we've seen you would call exposure of their bias, their intentional bias, their intentional omission of facts relevant to certain stories. We know this with the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop during the elections. We've seen this with Project Veritas exposing CNN for their intentional coverage and misleading of the Trump administration all 4 years. So we've seen these things. We see how CNN's ratings have just went into the toilet and flushed into the New York River. So we're trying to provide alternative platforms to get your news sources. So like I said, I'm begging, borrowing, and pleading with you all to check out TECNTV.com and check out our shows. And like I said, give us feedback, promote, share with others. You can subscribe to all of our YouTube channels as well, BitChute, Rumble, and just on the platform itself when you're available to watch it live. Otherwise, you can go back and watch our archived videos. So, but with that being said, I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to jump to a quick commercial break. So stay tuned, keep it locked right here. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, and we'll see you in a couple minutes.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, last week we had I guess you could say a two-part series, for lack of better words, on the state of the GOP. Well, I have a small update for you all. Senator Mitt Romney out of Utah has now faced a vote of censorship once again out of Weber County in Utah, and they decided to censor him for his involvement with the what do you call it, the Trump, the whole Trump phenomenon, and voting to have him impeached and everything. So he's under that. Now I would say that as I explained last week, that multiple senators and a few of the representatives, such as Representative Liz Cheney out of Wyoming, they're all getting their day of reckoning. And when the vote comes this week, matter of fact, it's going to be on Thursday, to remove Liz Cheney, that's going to put the GOP in upheaval. And so there's a lot of undercurrent things going on right now in the GOP. They're, I guess you could say, in a sense, trying to clean house a little bit of the anti-Trumpisms that's floating amongst the party to build up to party unity. And Mitt Romney is one of those anti-Trump folks. And like I said, the GOP needs to recognize where the direction the party is going, whether it's for good or bad. That's immaterial right now. But to recognize that at the state level, the constituency still supports former President Trump. And when they elect representatives to represent their voice, they expect that representative, whether senator or actual U.S. representative, to actually express the views of their constituencies. Now, if they go against that, they get recalled or get censured until their next election, and they're booted out of the way. This is politics, ladies and gentlemen, politics. So, but anyways, that's what's going down right now with Mitt Romney, anyways. And when we come back next week, we'll discuss, some more, I guess you'd say, fallout from what's going on within the GOP. But right now, we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna do a re-airing of the interview that I had with our network CEO and chairman, Kenneth McClenton, and hope you all enjoy, and we'll see you at the end of that interview. So stick around and enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the second hour of the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then to the tyrant. I want to let you all know something. The trained Marxist Patrice Cullors and her domestic terrorists assembled, they have worked hard, raising $10.6 billion in 7 months to put an end to white supremacy. Let me show you, ladies and gentlemen, that maybe they're not as effective as we thought they would be. White supremacy on display in California, IA.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good morning.
And the speed limit is 40, and I was going 38, so why are you harassing me?
You're correct. I pulled you over because
you're a murderer.
Because
yes, I started to record because you're a murderer.
You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
I wasn't on my phone. I was recording you because you scared me.
You can't use your cell phone while you're recording.
You.
May I have your driver's license?
It's at my apartment.
What's your apartment?
It's at my home. I'm just taking my son to his.
Do you have your driver's license?
I mistakenly left it at home.
Do you have a picture of your driver's license?
Yes, I do.
May I have it?
And can you call your supervisor, please?
I already did. He's on his way.
Good, because you're a murderer.
Okay.
And so you're giving me a cell phone ticket? Is that why you're harassing me?
Not harassment. I am enforcing the law.
I have a right to record the police when they're harassing me.
By all means, but you can't do it while you're driving.
I wasn't texting or none of that.
Do you have that
you
picture?
You scared me and made me think you were going to murder me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, that's not just a feeling. You're a murderer.
Okay. Can you zoom in on that for me,
Sure.
Jim? Thank you.
And I'm perfectly legal, and I'm a teacher. So there.
Congratulations.
Murderer. You're a murderer.
What's your last name? I can't see that there.
Well,
if
here you
stop,
go,
Stop
murderer.
Shaking. Zoom in on that for me,
No, because
right?
you're scaring me.
Oh,
you're threatening to kill me and my son. Can you give me
okay.
the
Well, I'll tell you what. You keep smiling. You're on camera.
You're trying to threaten to kill me.
I didn't say that.
I'm not smiling. You're the one who's crazy.
Hold that still. I can't see that. Is this your car?
Yes, it is. And you're trying to say I stole my own car because you're jealous?
Yeah,
is that what
I don't
that's
think
about?
so. You wait for me right here, okay?
You're jealous?
All you need to do is your signature. He's only citing you for using your cell phone while you're driving. That's it.
Here you go, ma'am. Sign inside the red box right there.
For him being a Mexican racist. What is that name? Gasso?
It's on the citation, ma'am.
Here you go, Mexican racist. You're always going to be a Mexican. You'll never be white. You know that, right? You'll never be white, which is what you really want to be.
There you go, dear.
White.
Have a good day.
You want to be white.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there is a young man who is running in the state of Alaska for the at-large congressional district seat. He is none other than a very good friend of mine, Randy Purim. U.S. House of Representatives is where he wants to sit in the next congressional setting. You can find him at rpurim4us.com. A man who has served this country in the U.S. Army and now wants to go to Washington, D.C. Good evening, sir. What a tremendous joy it is to be around a great American like yourself. Thank God for your service to our country.
Hey, Gary, thank you for having me.
Listen, I hope that you enjoyed that white supremacist who has been fighting on behalf of the social black justice warriors. I gotta ask you, sir, your thoughts on a California teacher who happens to be black with her child in the front seat with her, proclaiming that a Mexican is a murderer. Your thoughts, sir?
That was hilarious. I have to put her akin, no pun intended, Ken. I put her akin to. She's the black version of Karen's. So I have to call her Kiki.
Kiki. There you go.
So I mean, but on a serious note, it's really ridiculous how society has devolved into allowing people like this to roam Earth and to think that it is okay to conduct themselves the way that they do. Now, I don't understand, first off, why is it that her face is blurred out? I saw another news clip saying that they wanted to protect her identity. Why? Has she been white? Has she been Hispanic? Has she been Asian? Has she been anybody else? She would have been on full blast.
Yeah.
And so I think it is very prudent and appropriate that she is exposed for who she is, because protecting her is only perpetuating the problem. And
Exactly.
if we're trying to end racism and supremacy of any form, then we need to call these people out for where they are and who they are. So I think it's crazy, and I think she was on drugs at the time, so they should have had her tested because she was tripping.
She was on that teachers union drug called "I'm out of work because I want to be."
Yes.
I gotta ask you here, Randy, and we send our great blessings to your family and happy Mother's Day to April, who I want you to know is never spoiled enough. You got to do a better job of spoiling her.
I'm almost tapped out. She's done until our anniversary in October, and so she'll be okay.
She'll be all right. Happy Mother's Day to April. But I gotta ask you here, why did you decide to run, and why did you decide to run in Alaska?
Well, I've been talking about running for Congress for years, actually. Being in the military for the last 22 years, I just retired in September, and it was time. The calendar and the clock was running away from me being on retirement, and so I looked up, and the 2020 elections were over with, and I said, okay, I need to start getting my mind right and transition myself from the military mindset to being, preparing myself to run for Congress because this is something I was actually trying to do it when I was trying to get out of the military back in 2015, 2018, and here we are, 2020. I said, okay, 2021 now. I said, okay, I'm doing it. And so, but for Alaska, I love the state. I've been a resident of the state since 2012. Um, due to military service, being bounced around the world, literally.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to really, soak in Alaska like I wanted to. I was there for 3 years. I left and got stationed in Maryland. Then went from Maryland to Italy, and now I'm back here in Texas. And the only reason why I'm here in Texas and not in Alaska is because of the whole COVID crisis overseas in Europe.
Yeah.
They couldn't send me to Alaska to retire out and finish things up. So it was like, we're going to send you back to Texas where it's more convenient. They're taking soldiers in, Army, because I was stationed in a naval base. So that was really complicated. So I'm here. We got the family situated, and they're settled and everything. And now I'll be heading up to Alaska at the end of the month here to get things in order up there and go from there and see how this is going to pan out for the 22 the midterms.
Well, listen, you're going to be going up against Don Young, who, he was there at the Continental Congress. He actually was holding the pen for Franklin and a few others. I want to ask you, why are you going to run against Don Young? I mean, he is a very stalwart figure in Alaska politics.
He is. And Don Young is about to turn 88 years old. He's been in office since 1973.
Yeah.
More like, a lot of people that I've been talking to, they say it feel like he's been there since 1773. So, Alaska became a state in 1950. So I just want to put into perspective for people to understand that when Alaska became a state, they were barely 25 years old when he became a congressman for the state. I'm 41, and I did 22 years in the military and retired. And he's been in office before I was born and after I had already retired from federal service. So I think it's important. I think it's important for the Alaskan people to understand that, when you're in office that long, you tend to lose touch. You tend to miss some things.
Yeah.
You miss that connectability with people. And it's important to swap out, because there were some founding fathers that did not have a problem with people being in office, forever and a day, as long as people were happy with them. And then there was other founding fathers that were against that idea because of corruption, because of you get complacent and you do forget about why you're there in office. And so I see that kind of that paradigm going on right now with our Congress right now. Well, all the members that's been in Congress for more than a half a century. They're losing, they're complacent right now, and we see the devolution in our republic because of that. So I think it's important that we have term limits, and I want to be one of the ones to step in and help enforce that ideology of it's time to swap people out every so often to keep Congress fresh, to keep corruption out of politics, big money out of politics at that. But my campaign is based on a grassroots effort. I'm not reaching out to the big donors and corporations and what have you. I'm talking directly to the American people, the everyday Joe Smo and Suzanne's and James. I'm talking to those people and saying, hey, if you want change starts with us. It's not going to start with white man.
You are an honorable man who have served our country well here and away. A man who has been medaled and looked upon with great distinction in the U.S. Army. I apologize for putting the U.S. Army behind the U.S. Navy in the interview sequences. But
it's okay. we'll come behind and save them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But I gotta ask you here. Give me your impression of the next video that I show you. With the Central Intelligence Agency recruiting for a new workforce.
When I was 17, I quoted Zora Neale Hurston's How It Feels to Be Colored Me in my college application essay. The line that spoke to me stated simply, I am not tragically colored. There is no sorrow dammed up in my soul nor lurking behind my eyes. I do not mind at all. At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Zora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional, but my existence is not a box-checking exercise. I am a walking declaration, a woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences, suggesting that a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA. My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke or slip through the cracks. I earned my way in, and I earned my way up the ranks of this organization. I am educated, qualified, and competent, and sometimes I struggle. I struggle feeling like I could do more, be more to my two sons, and I struggle leaving the office when I feel there's so much more to do. I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be. I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me, full stop. My parents left everything they knew and loved to expose me to opportunities they never had. Because of them, I stand here today a proud first-generation Latina and officer at CIA. I am unapologetically me. I want you to be unapologetically you, whoever you are. Know your worth. Command your space. Mija, you're worth it.
Tonight we are with Randy Purim, who is running for office in the great state of Alaska for the at-large congressional seat. Randy, should we be looking forward to more, millennialized commercials for maybe the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, Merchant Marines, the Coast Guard? Should we be looking for that? Since the CIA definitely is looking for people who are bipolar, filled with PTSD, and quite frankly, are able to belt out verses in Spanish or whatever other language that you want. Is this the new intelligence community for America?
I would hope not. And I say that with sincerity because it's great to have diversity, in our alphabet agencies. It's great, and to include the armed forces. We need diversity. We need those different backgrounds, experiences, and everything else among the ranks. However, when we're starting to pander and open those doors up to any and anybody, that that fits, the demographic and the intersectionality of, you know, what's trending on Twitter, this is when you start putting bodies in coffins and flag draping coffins. And I know that and I understand that very, very well. You can't just put anybody in these positions facing adversaries around the world who do not care about, you know, what you identify as. All they see is you are associated with the United States and they want you dead. They're not going to stop and pause and say, oh, they're transgender. Oh, they're Hispanic. Oh, they're an immigrant to the United States. And, they don't care about that. Oh, he's a black man, and he just got out of prison, so this is his first day on the job. They don't care about that. What they're going to see is you are an American and they want you dead. And I think it's a tragedy. It's a tragic that the government is starting to turn our agencies to pander to recruit the vulnerable population of America to join the ranks because the true patriots, the true warriors, they're starting to fade off because we're getting old. We're getting older, and we this is not the route to go. It's the keep the integrity of these agencies for what it's been always. That's what I say about that.
The black Americans complained in the 1980s and 90s that the standards were too high for them to join the fire, EMT, or EMS, and also the police. And so instead of African Americans being told to arise to a standard, the standards were lowered. The standards have been lowered in the Marine Corps and in the U.S. Army and Navy and Air Force and Marines. Are we better off with lower standards so that we can have diversity, or would we be better off with standards that make us more attainable of the ideas of great governance and great military performance?
He touched on that in one of the cases that actually was taking place in Texas about affirmative action case of how one colleges lowered their standards to allow substandard performing students to enter their university. And the idea applies the same when you're talking about entrance exams, uh, performance exams, and what have you into various specialized services. So when you're talking about lowering standards for any group of people, regardless of their ethnic backgrounds, what you're saying is, yeah, you suck, but we need you so badly that we're going to lower the bar so you can come in and subsequently get killed because we just need to beat the numbers. That's what that, and I've seen that firsthand. I've seen that firsthand on the 2008 surge to Iraq and the 2011 surge. We was taking any and everybody in the military, and we was the NCOs. We were beating our heads against the walls, trying to train the untrainable to go to war and hope and pray that we are able to bring them back alive, or ourselves alive for that matter. It's like if they get killed, oh well, but we need to get home because. But that was the mindset that the the senior military guys had during that time during the surge. So I'm gonna summarize with this: to lower standards to appease a population is a dangerous move. If they cannot attain, um, if they cannot attain that position based on their merits, then we need to look at the education system in which they're being brought up through and change that and help train them to become better people or better qualified to meet those standards. But just to lower the standards because they can't attain it for some reason, I don't agree with that. I never have agreed with that.
Now, a lot of people would say, well, you are displaying your infinite sexism, your infinite racism. You are defeating the purposes of diversity here. You need to be re-educated, and thus you're showing that you're not qualified as a congressman to represent all people. What is your response to that?
Well, the proof is in the pudding. I'm not going to say Native Americans. Every stripe of American from all ethnic groups have served our nation since its founding. I mean, you can go back to 1870. The first 7 black congressmen, fresh out of slavery, served our nation.
Yeah.
We have people that have fought in every war of every color since the founding of this nation. So to try to relegate that, we're in modern times and diversity is the pinnacle part of our society is a false statement. So we've always been diverse. We always been a diverse nation. We always took part in developing this nation. From the Asians all the way, you can go the whole gamut of the alphabet soup of ethnicities and backgrounds from different parts of the world have came to this country and took part in making America what it is. So it's not espousing racism, it's not espousing sexism, it's espousing a standard of living and a standard of an American idea that when you come here or if you are already here, that you are expected to do and be somebody. No matter what it is, because you have that freedom to choose to be who you want to be. But by all means, you're going to contribute some kind of way to this country.
Do you believe in equal? Do you believe in equal opportunity or in equal outcomes?
I believe in equal opportunity. There's no such thing as equal outcome. Unless if you want to look at equal outcomes, then you're setting the parameters to where somebody is going to fail or somebody is going to be discriminated against in order to have that equal outcome. And this is why I've kind of been always a skeptic of affirmative action, because we're saying that it's okay to discriminate to equalize the playing field. I understand that the initial onset, the initial thought process behind the affirmative action policies of the 1960s and 70s was to open the doors for people of color to have an opportunity, and that was fine. But now we're looking at, let's just take for example, the Asian community. They're discriminated against to this present day. With college entrance exams and with college entrance admissions and getting bank loans and everything else, they're being discriminated against right now because there's no. We got too many Asian people opening up nail salons now. Yeah. We got too many Asians coming into college now. So we're discriminating against Asians, but now we got hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Make up your mind. I'm confused here.
I gotta ask you here, because diversity warriors, the social justice warriors, never asked this question. Would you prefer to be seen in a surgery done to you by a doctor who trained at the highest levels possible and succeeded, no matter what their race, color, creed, or religion was, or someone who the bar was dropped on so that they might be able to get through a program? Which one would you prefer?
I prefer the brightest and the best. I don't need I don't need, Joey who's aspiring to be a doctor, and they felt bad for him because he failed the medical exams, 45 times. They say, you know what? Okay, on the 46th, we're going to give you an honorary doctorate degree to be, to practice medicine. No, no, I can't do that. I can't ascribe to that because there's a reason why we have these standards. There's a reason why you have to be the best of the best to participate in these specialized fields. And if it was meant for everybody, if this was if our society was a participation trophy world, then we wouldn't have to have this conversation. And I think that's the problem. That's the problem with us feeding this false reality to people, is that it's okay to dream big because we're going to give it to you anyways.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you're gonna work. You have to go to school. I just told my daughter this today because she's still in high school, and I told her, I said, hey, you're a grown woman. I got mine. It's on my wall.
That's life.
It's yours.
That's life in reality.
I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand and teach you what 2 + 2 is. You should already know that.
Exactly.
So that's how it is in life.
Listen, you're absolutely right. I prefer Dr. Ben Carson over Jelly Gel or whoever got through the MD.
Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki got through this community college medical program. That's okay. Thank you very much. Listen, there was someone who dropped a note and wanted you to see it and wanted to get your comments on it.
A really good movie that other people are saying is trash. I don't know how they can say that. They must be liberals. I don't know. But it made me very furious because Mother's Day is coming up and you have all these mothers that are going to say, hey, I'm mom and dad. No, you're not. Shut up. You are not mom and dad. You cannot be mom and dad. Ever. Ever. You are mom, and you've done a good job if you had to raise your kids on your own. Hey, I get that. I get that. But you are not mom and dad, okay? Because each family member has a role in the house, and a dad has a role. So whether or not you're with him or not, then you need to make sure that the dad is in the life. But let's take that a little bit further. Let's say the dad is a piece of crap. Okay, because there are pieces of crap. Trust me, I have an ex-husband. I know. But you owe it to your child to make sure that the person that comes in is someone worthy. Someone worthy of being in your child's life, because you do know that your child's going to look up to that person and think that whatever he does is okay. Okay. So, number one, I'm not worried about the girls. The girls will be okay. They're going to be okay. Whether they're fat, pretty, ugly, skinny, whatever, they're going to be okay. Someone's going to take them on. Whatever. If they're raised right and they don't accept any BS. Okay. But for my boys, it's a real struggle for them. They see other people getting things so easily, and that's what leads them to the streets. And that's not where we want them to go. And there's no mom that can stop a boy from becoming a man when he's made his decision. Alright, so this post is very short. I just want to let everyone know that a woman cannot raise a man. That's it. I get so much hate for it. I don't care. I don't care. A woman can't raise a man. A only a man can. And I know this because guess what? I'm a very strong woman. Very strong woman. But I submit to my man, who is even stronger because I help to lift him.
She is a very strong woman, and she is a very brilliant and beautiful woman as well. She happens to be the wife of Randy Purim, April Purim, with her statement regarding Mother's Day. I wanted to get your comments regarding that post.
I saw it pop up my notification that April was live about an hour ago, and that's oh Lord, what's up to now? Because we're on like separate ends of the house, so I'm in my office doing some work, and it just popped up and said April's live. I was like, oh, okay. So I clicked on it and watched it, and I said, okay. Fair enough. That was good. I have to be cautious with April sometimes. She tends to, but she tends to go crazy sometimes. But this time around, she did great. She did great, and I wholeheartedly agree with her. I 100% agree with her that it is difficult. My mom, she raised six of us in the house. Um, my father was around. He was around. He didn't live in the home, but he did pop up every few weekends or so. But he was in our lives. My grandfather lived next door, so I kind of had that patriarchal structure around me in my life. But however, I still was a badass.
Yeah.
Growing up, I still went to jail. I still was mixed up with the street life and everything else. But I knew better. It was just to fit in and be with friends. But when I was back in the house, it was like in the books and church on Sunday and everything else. So I knew better. So it's important to have that patriarchal structure in your life, to have a father in the home, preferably 24/7. Because, like I said, my father was in my life, my grandfather was in my life. They kind of like the times were kind of overlapping, but it's not the same knowing that if I open up this front door, my father will hear this, and he's gonna put a round in my chest.
That's right.
Because I'm not necessarily talking about a bullet, but a fist right through your chest.
Exactly.
Because like, where are you going this time of night, or why are you coming in so late? And my mom tried to be that enforcer as well, but my mom stands 5'7". And I was like 5'10", 5'11". So it was like when my mom was like went to go swing on me, it was kind of like, yeah. Not tonight, Mom. Not tonight. Just I'm sorry. That's it. So it's not the same, and it's very. And we see that we actually see that in society today, that mothers are not really inclined to deal with their male children in a disciplinary realm, because they know, okay, he's bigger than me, he's stronger than me. I'm not going to sit here and fight with this man, because that's what it boils down to eventually. Is it comes to blows, And I'm teaching my daughter about our grandson right now. You have to be stern on him now, so he'll understand. You put the fear of God in him right now. He's only 9 months old, so he knows as he gets older, like, that's mom. I am not fit to cross mom, because mom will put a cross on me.
Exactly.
That's it. And,
or I'll be holding a cross over my chest in a little box.
Exactly. And that's what we gotten away from. And it's a sad situation that fathers lay down with mothers and they create a child, and they get this sense of impunity to walk away with no consequence. When there is a consequence, that is your bloodline that you're leaving to the wolves to subsequently be eaten alive in the streets. Exactly. And you don't have a care in the world, And so I think it's important that when mothers identify that, hey, I have this boy right now, and he needs to become a man. That if the father is not around, that they do reach out to the community to the positive side of the community, that is.
Yeah.
and get that boy, you know, around men who will help raise him to become a man. Because we also gotten away from the whole community mindset, the mindset of communal raising of our children. And that's one thing that I'm campaigning on as well.
I want to mention here, because family values is always mentioned, but it seems that people tiptoe over this particular issue regarding gender and raising a family. And at a time period where we have a president who believes that a 5-year-old can decide what gender they want to be, it is essential that a father figure is in the home so that the father is not replaced by the state in terms of the judgment decisions in the life of the child themselves. This is a very key point in terms of your campaign. Why should people support your campaign in Alaska, and how can they support your campaign in Alaska?
It is important that, you know, we have to recognize that children are our future, and when we take their minds at a young age of this egregious ideology that they're somehow endowed with this wisdom that they can identify what kind of sex they want to be, what gender they want to be, we're going down the wrong path. Yeah. And for Alaskans, we understand that. Alaska isn't called the last frontier for you know, just hyperbole. Yeah. We are very consecrated in family values and understanding, you know, conservation of the rule of law, the, you know, our livelihoods. Second Amendment, very pro Second Amendment state, because that is one of the means in which we put food in our bellies. So, you know, I ask the American people, I ask the Alaskan people, the best way to support my candidacy for the U.S. Congress is, you know, you go to my website, rpearlforus.com, and you can see my platform. You like what you see, you can donate, help me out, help my team out, and I'm all for, you know, answering questions. I respond back to emails, almost like that. So feel free to reach out to me on social media pretty much all day, every day. So I am going to be, I will engage. I'm not afraid to have the conversation. I will talk to anybody, because I'm a firm believer and I'm a firm stander on what I believe in. You know, I don't waver. You know, I may change my position in light of new information, sure, but my initial thoughts is what I stand by. Is what I feel.
And I can tell that you have a very beautiful Alaskan wife in April as well. Very strong-minded. And yes, you are a respecter of that, and God bless you for being so. Listen, wish her the happiest Mother's Day from us. And we love you, and this will be your inaugural visit to us as a candidate. We look forward to you coming back often in your campaign towards 2022.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to come, and thank you for the Mother Day wishes. I will definitely let her know, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'll definitely be back.
And also remind her that Mother's Day is never greater than Father's Day. So Father's Day, it has to be 10 times better than Mother's Day. You just remind her of that.
Absolutely. I still plan on making her cook on Mother's Day.
God bless you, man. I love you. I will talk with you later. You got a show tomorrow too at 1:00 on TECN TV. I want people to tune in. Go directly there, TECNTV.com at 1:00. The new featuring Randy Purim. We will be right back with more of the best in urban conservative talk.
Hey, welcome back. So I hope you all enjoyed that interview. I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Have fun. I do apologize for the audio. My microphone was up too high, and neither one of us knew that the feedback was coming through like that. But that's okay nonetheless. You got the context, content, and the gist of everything that was being discussed. So, but other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic remainder of the week. And like I said, I will not be on Friday, but I will be back on Monday. I'll be out of town for the duration of the week, attending an event. But anyways, thank you all once again for tuning in. Appreciate you. You can follow me on Twitter, rperm. I am hanging out on Twitter a little bit more often these days, since that's the kind of like the gravitational pull for candidates and stuff. So I'm making my presence a little bit more, I guess you could say, known on Twitter. I'm also on Parler, MeWe, Gab, LinkedIn, Instagram, all that good stuff. My handle on all of those are at rperm. That's RPURHAM. And if you want to be a contributor to the show, you can do so. Either if you want to be an advertiser or be a guest on the show, you can do so. Just hit me up at rperm@gmail.com. Also, Cash App, $, capital R, PURHAM, number 4, US. And same with PayPal, rperm for US. And if you want to support my campaign for Congress for the great state of Alaska, you can go to www.rperm4us.com. And once again, thank you, and we will see you all next week. God bless you all, and be safe.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.